Okay, this video is going to be an overview of the new Amazon Fire tablet. It's the base 7-inch version. It came out today, 30th of September. It's comparatively basic specs, but the key difference in this new model that's out now is the price. It's just £50, and I think it's even $50 in America. Obviously the exchange doesn't always translate, and I think something like 60 euros. So however you look at it, really low cost, and you can see it's got the clip at the top just to put it on a rack, and they're expecting people really just to grab them because they're so cheap and hopefully fly off the shelves, and targeting the low end of the market, I guess. You've got the iPad in the background there, which is about 10 times the price, give or take. So it's certainly a different demographic they're going for. And yeah, got it today, and I'll see how it goes. So if we open this one up, you should see how it is to set up. It's pretty straightforward, I guess. And you'll note when you do buy one of these Amazon tablets, because you can do it from the Amazon account, it'll tie into your existing Amazon account, which is useful to get your Kindle apps or Kindle books all scheduled and synced, and other account bases like Amazon Prime, I guess, will probably be synced on here as well if you've got that account. But as the box says on the back, although it's pretty cheap, the specs aren't that bad. You've got 7-inch display, 1024 by 600. You've got Wi-Fi. It's 8 gig memory built in. Quad core, well, 8 gig of storage, quad core, front and rear cameras, so it's not too stingy on that either, and you can get a load of storage by putting your own micro SD in, and it's got all the details on the back there. You can always pause the video if you want to check through that, but basically, although it's really cheap, it's not that bad spec. So I think Amazon have said they don't make any money on these, they're just trying to get them out to as many people as possible to get a bit of market share. It runs Fire OS, which is basically a variant of Android, just heavily customized by Amazon, and they've got their own store as well, and they're trying to push a lot of their own apps. I haven't tried their store out, but I think there's quite a lot of interesting options on it now, particularly about some of the price of the apps they're pushing are going to be free. So in the box we've got, okay, so we've got the tablet itself, 7-inch. I mean, it's not that thick. It feels quite weighty. It's not bad. It doesn't feel flimsy at all. Not cheap in any way. We've got just basic instruction manual, setup guide, basic don't electrocute yourself with it type instructions. One USB cable to micro USB for power and syncing. Just put that away a bit, get the brightness off the screen. Yeah, and I think, oh, and you've got here a plug. So no doubt on different areas you'll get different plugs. That's a UK plug, obviously, so I can just put the USB in that to charge it, and away I go. Okay, so back on the tablet, we've got there we go. It is, you know, it's not the thinnest in the world, but again, you can see it's really not that thick. I mean, compare to sort of plug size there, just to get a bit of reference. It's really not that thick, about a couple of centimetres or so, give or take. It does feel sort of fairly weighty. It's got a good quality feel to it. On the back, got the Amazon logo along with your camera, and a set of buttons along the top. It looks like maybe that's power. That one would be volume, I'm guessing. Micro USB here. Don't know how well that's showing up. And I'm not too sure what that one is. Probably need to read the manual for that. But yeah, that's the device. There's no button on the front like you would get with an iPad. There's no home button. It's all, you can see there, it's all pretty smooth. You've got the camera at the top, and let's see if it's got a charge. I imagine it has. If I hold that down, do we get something coming up on the screen? There we go. So as that boots, I imagine we'll get a setup sequence to get this connected to their app store, get it on the Wi-Fi. Okay, it's first time booting. Like I say, when you buy it, it does give you the option to say, is it a gift or is it for you? So I think there's probably a bit of customization in terms of the accounts to get it up and running on my account already. Let's see if that's built in. At the top there, we've got welcome, please select your language. Defaulted to US, so just hit UK. That's really responsive. That didn't feel sluggish at all. Okay, it's auto selected UK at the bottom there. And I've got text size, you can just choose to zoom that in. If I make that bigger just for the purpose of the video, it might help. There we go. Okay, selected that, hit continue. Right, got a bunch of Wi-Fi. I'll find my Wi-Fi. 1 second. Just typing the password in. Okay. Right, loading. Hopefully it'll hook onto that quite happily. Okay, so it's already found a software update and is updating that over the Wi-Fi. Hopefully this won't be too long. If it is, just fast forward the video. So make sure I've got enough charge that this can go ahead. I don't know how much charge it's got, to be honest. I've just got it out of the box, but it's moving along there. Whilst it's doing that, we'll just check the back of the box and see what other features it says it's got. Okay, so we've got, fast and responsive. It felt pretty good when I was just testing it there with the touch screen. It felt pretty responsive. Apps and games that are completely free, and that's what it's saying about their new App Store. What do they say? A one-of-a-kind App Store experience and access to a selection of popular apps and games that are 100% free, even in-app items such as free lives, unlocked levels, add-on packs and more. And what I'll probably do a subsequent video showing the app usage or maybe even the gaming on it as well, so it can hook up with, I think it's got Bluetooth, pretty sure I read somewhere it did. If it does, it'll hook up to remote controllers pretty well, and can do some retro gaming on that. It's got the other features there as well, like selection of movies, books and more. Kindle based really, so it ties in with that. You've got the Amazon Instant Video as well as Netflix, so all the standard sort of apps really are available. And you can do the more productive apps like your email ones, Office, and no doubt you can get PowerPoint, Excel and everything, or emulators along those lines anyway, like a Gmail version. So it should be a pretty good choice for certainly a starter tablet if you want to try one out, because I don't think you're going to get anything cheaper than £50. It's a great deal. It's pretty high spec, and I think it'll perform quite well. So anyway, that's downloaded the firmware update that it was talking about, or it's got to 100% anyway, the software update. I may well cut some of this out on the video because I don't think you're going to want to wait much longer for this. Slow network connection, that's my Wi-Fi for you. Downloading via software update, it's taking longer than expected. Tap cancel. Okay, so I can go cancel and, oh, no, it's now saying power off, shutting down. Maybe that's finished it. Okay, maybe it's done it anyway. What's that say? Recover mode. Okay, so there's an option there on boot to go into recover mode, but it had obviously finished doing its update and it is installing it now. It doesn't look like it's going to take too long. I'm not sure the processor in here, but it's probably not the fastest given the price, but I'm sure it'll get there. Just have a look around the edge whilst that's doing that. I don't think there's any other connections. They're smooth around all the edges there. You've got the, I don't know if that's coming out. That obviously unclips and you can get the SD card or micro SD in there on the side. Let's see if that comes out. Yeah, that'll just pop in there and then cover it up. The other side, nothing on that long side, and then again, like we saw at the top, you've got power. I think that's volume, but I'll have to check. Micro SD, that's probably a microphone there, and I'm not too sure what that is there. I'll have to check that one out. Okay, Right, so currently it is installing that update, and I will probably fast forward at this point. Okay, so that took about 5 minutes to do, to update the firmware. It carried on, it's rebooted, it's gone back into Fire, and it looks like it's restarted fine. So it's got the latest firmware on now, or the latest updates that Amazon have given to it, and we'll just see if it boots into the OS now and gets the interface, or whether we've got some more setup steps to do. So I'll just wait for that to get into the next section there. But I did look at the manual that you've got with it. This one, like I said earlier, this one is just don't drop it in water, you're covered for 90 days or whatever, and general info that you don't really need. And this is the manual. So you can see there's your tablet, and there is the camera on the front. You've got the camera hole at that point. On the side you've got the SD card, which I showed earlier. Then not too sure what that circle is. Oh yeah, rear camera at the back, that's on the corner. Then at the top, which is the only other section for the connections, you've got a headphone socket, which is what that end one was. You've got volume, which is that longer switch there. You've got microphone, which you don't do anything with except picks up the audio. And the micro USB there for charging or syncing, and the power at the end. So it's pretty simple really, that's it. And this is the instruction booklet. On the back it just says customer support, call this number. And inside it just says to unlock, swipe up, and turn on obviously. And plug it in if you want to charge it. That must be some weird plug type thing that they've been using. But yeah, that's it, that's your instructions. But that's probably all you're going to need really. No doubt that you can get more online, but that's all that comes with it. And the power obviously, and the USB cable that's shown earlier. And that's everything that you get in the box. So back to the tablet, and I'm used to using an iPad, which is usually bigger than 7 inches. So you often hold it with 2 hands, but this 7 inches. It's ideal for holding your hand. I mean, it's barely bigger than the large phones or the phablets, so it's quite handy for just quickly using whatever you might use your phone for usually. So some of the apps obviously are better in larger screens, so it might be much better Kindle experience than on your mobile phone because of the size of the font, that sort of thing. And a 7-inch tablet's been pretty popular for a while, like with the Nexus from Google, they're 7 inches, and it's generally a size that's quite convenient and low cost because it's literally just not as big and the components aren't as expensive. So there you can see, I think, if it focus, installing the latest software, take approximately 10 minutes. Okay, I'm not going to let you wait for 10 minutes. Whilst it's doing that, I'll just put that down. And separately, with the Fire tablet, you can get the Fire cover, and it's designed to hold it specifically. And no doubt it'll wake when you sort of open it, and it's generally geared for it. But on one hand, it's possibly not worth getting because the tablet itself, in the UK anyway, is £50, and the Fire cover is £20. So it's practically half the price again, and you're getting away from that really low price point that's the big attraction in the first place. And there are Amazon sell alternatives to this for the new tablet for about £5 less, £15, but no doubt you could get cheaper knockoffs for £10 say, or even less. Or you don't need it at all, to be honest. You could just skip the cover. So it isn't a necessity, it's just quite nice, and obviously it's got the stand element in there. So it is got an advantage. It does have an advantage over having nothing, but if you're going for the Fire tablet for the price, then you might want to think twice about actually getting a cover for it. But we'll check this one out anyway and see how it looks. Okay. See how we get in there. Sorry if the lighting's a bit bad, the sun keeps going in and out, and my iPhone isn't exactly a professional way of doing it, but that's all I've got at the moment. Anyway, there's a case. See that at the front, you've got the logo at the bottom. Instructions of how to put it in, hopefully I'll be able to work that out. And that's pretty much it. I'll put that in a second. I mean, it looks like it's going to hold it pretty firmly, and like I say, it doubles as the stand for it, so it's going to be quite useful if you're going to move it about a lot and not just keep it on the coffee table. And obviously it's got the gap for the camera. Okay, the tablet is still installing the software update, so I'll pause it here and jump to when this is finished installing the latest bits of software. Okay, finished the update and it just prompted me to say, am I the account holder that has been assigned to it? I said yes, and the next screen just says confirm your time zone. This defaulted to Belfast, so I just updated that. And it's touchscreen obviously, so I can change it. Although it did feel like I had to press maybe slightly harder than usual on other tablets, particularly the iPad. I've just maybe a little bit harder on that, but I'm sure it's quite sensitive. If I try continue. There we go. Okay, family setup. Do I want to do a family setup? No. So just tap not now and continue. Do I want to enable location services? Allow maps, other apps, Amazon to use location related information. No, not at the minute. I can always change it. Backup and restore. There we go. Backup file settings. Is that on or off? Okay, that's on. Yeah, back them up. Save Wi-Fi to Amazon. No, let's not do that. Auto save photos and videos. No, that sounds quite dangerous as well. We'll ignore that. Okay, and no doubt you can change these, and you've got setup options here. Or I can just say no thanks anyway, or I'll go continue. So that's down the bottom there. Go continue to that. Social networks, no to everything. Okay, tutorial. Major features, functionality of the new Fire tablet. Start. Homepage displays a list of your installed apps. Okay, so pretty standard. Quickly find your recently opened content by swiping to the recent page to the left of home. Content pages, books, videos, games. Okay. And swiping, okay, so that's pretty standard, just swipe through different pages there to switch between them. You can navigate by swiping or tapping a page name. Okay, so yeah, you could use the tabs at the top. Just get that in frame. Okay, next. See more content, simply swipe up. I guess that's not going to let me do it now, but you saw the arrow there. Library in the store. Access the items you bought by tapping on the library. That's up in the top there. Okay. At the bottom of the screen, tap left to go back to the previous screen, circle to navigate home, and square to switch between recently opened apps. That's straight there. Okay, they're down the bottom there, you can see those. And quick settings. Access notifications and frequently used settings by swiping down from the top of the screen. Okay, finish. And there we go. Get more of it in there. So pretty standard tablet view. If we open what we've got, there should be some sort of, is there Safari on this, or must be some type of web browser. Office, photos, books, shop, email, calendar, settings, video, games. What's the next page? Okay, so books. Continue watching. Okay, so if I press this, let's just see what it's like with the video. Play. That's no problem streaming, pretty good quality, definitely watchable, easy to access.
I'm astonished that you should agree to this so readily when your department must take a lot of the blame. Oh, we didn't do anything. Well, you raised no objection in the run-up to the war.
Yeah, I'll get carried away watching that. Okay, let's put it back. Does it swap back? No, stays that way up. I'll tap it. Oh, there we go. Okay, back. And we're back. Okay, so what's home? That circle? Yeah, I think circle goes back. And so that was books, video, games. Probably not holding this very well. Shop for... Oh, I thought that was going to be apps, but apps is next. So apps is empty. Is that because I haven't bought any? Maybe. Music, audiobooks, newsstand, blah 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 blah. Okay, so we're back. Like I said, your games library is empty. So yeah, I could put a few of these on in a moment and try out, see how the games act on that. But the main page, I guess I was getting... there should be a browser here, shouldn't there? I'm probably missing it. Fire for Kids, audio, music, App Store, newsstand, settings, videos, contacts, offers. Is it shop? What happens if I press shop? Okay, so that just takes me to Amazon to buy more Amazon stuff. Right, I'm going to pause this a second. Okay, I think I got it. It's this Silk thing. I haven't used Fire OS before, so I wasn't too sure what that is, and it's, for whatever reason, cut off Silk ... But if we go into Silk, then it says, hey, Silk's got a new look, blah blah blah, it's changed. Okay, fine, get started. And I guess I can just search here. So if we're looking for cheese, guess this turns into my web browser. Okay, so it's defaulting to Bing, but no doubt that could be changed. And it's quite happily showing me websites about cheese. So if I choose one, no problem there. Yeah, you can pinch and zoom quite happily. And the speed's fine, you know, it's responsive. Don't see an issue with that at all. Apologies for the slightly wobbly going on like this, but maybe I need to sort of clamp it down a bit more. And it's getting pretty dark outside, so my lighting's a bit rubbish now. But you get the idea. Easy to set up, easy to start running with. Only took a few moments really. I had to skip about 5 minutes when it's doing the update to start with, but obviously that's not going to happen very often. And now you can use it like any normal tablet. Mainly you've got your web browser, which is going to be pretty key. And you can search for other stuff besides cheese, obviously. And you've got the other apps you might use, like weather or shopping on Amazon, photos. I should probably try taking a picture with it. Is there a camera app, or would you just go straight to photos? Let's try photos. Okay, welcome to photos. Get started. Get the cloud. I don't want to do this. I don't use these devices. Add photos, no. Add Facebook, no. Your library is empty. Yes. Here we go. Camera icon at the top. And that's not doing anything when I'm pressing that camera icon. What do we go here? Camera roll. Your camera roll is empty. Take a photo. Yes, I want to take a photo. Take a photo. Swipe. No. Take a photo. Okay, I'm going to have to get the hang of that, obviously. Okay, I'm giving up with the picture for a minute. I'm sure it should be easy, and I'm sure it is when you find the button. Anyway, just quickly going over the menus, you've got at the top there, you can swipe between home, books, just slide that across, showing shop, apps, music, so and then you can just tap music, go straight into it. Back to home with this button at the bottom, so you go back to the home screen. Then you've got settings here, and the settings available are wireless, obviously, to jump onto different networks. Storage, if we go into storage, it says you've got 4.6 gig free of 5.6. So it states you've got 8 gig, but obviously then you've got default system that takes up some and general overhead. So you end up with 5.6, and of that, the stock install gives me 4.6 free. So an SD card would definitely help. And it says there, expand your device storage, browse recommended SD cards on Amazon. So always with the upsell. But yeah, you could put any, I mean, they're only, what, £5 for 16 gig or that type of region. So yeah, you can get a lot more storage quite easily just putting it in that side slot. Okay, if we go back, what else have we got in settings? Power options, automatic smart suspend. Okay, so to extend battery life, to get more out of it, got a few options there just to keep it going. Display settings to lower the brightness, that sort of thing. Wi-Fi settings as well, so the more that's off, the more it would last as well. What else we got? Apps and games. Amazon application settings, allow App Store to collect information. No. App Store, I'll read that later. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Display. We've got display brightness. Now, obviously, the lower the brightness, the longer your battery lasts. That's up to you. You've got a wallpaper option. You can set various different. Yeah, let's have that. Pick image. Set wallpaper. Display sleep mode. Font size huge. I'll change that in a minute. And when device is rotated, rotate the contents of the screen like that. Okay. What else we got? Back display. We've got my account. So that's tied in with the Amazon account and everything associated with that. Most of those are pretty self-explanatory options down there. System sync device. What would I sync that with? Okay, that didn't actually do anything other than spin. Help, accessibility, and legal. That's it for the settings. And that's pretty much it as a quick sort of once over. You can see it's pretty responsive when I'm tapping. It fires up pretty quickly. The videos play pretty well, and I'm sure it takes good pictures when I press the obvious button. Oh, what's that? Photo. Is that anything? Let's try that one. Photo importer. No, I don't want to import. Yeah, so what they got Shop Amazon from top left, then you've got Silk something, which is the web browser, Books, the Kindle, Photos to show you the photos when you've taken them, Offers. I wonder if I just put that in, just copy the Apple, and you turn that off, and then you try and swipe. No. Okay, so I've got the screensaver for £50 stays and advertises you things like that. So I'm in screensaver mode because I'm not using it, and that appears for £10. You can get rid of it, so it doesn't appear. So it's up to you whether you want to pay the extra £10 really. But let me see if I can get to the. Okay, well I can swipe off it easy enough. I just still don't know how to take the pictures. Offers. I don't know if I can delete these apps. If I press and hold, it moves. But can I move it to a bin? I don't know where the bin is, but yeah, they move. Email. Configure email app. Calendar. Docs. Contacts. Calculator. Blah blah blah. Games. What I'll do, probably in a separate video, is go in the App Store here and see if they've got any emulators to play retro games and see how they play on it. You've got Amazon Music and Amazon Prime, obviously. Audio, but it's a lot of these. It might be because I put the font size really high, but a lot of them go ... because they don't fit. So I might try dropping the font size and seeing how that looks. Yeah, that's the home page. Like I say, you've got books to focus on the Kindle side, video for maybe Amazon Prime and general movies you've got on the SD card. Game section, suggesting apps for you there. Shop, which, okay, so focusing on household goods and stuff. General apps, I'll check those out. Music from Prime playlists. Audiobooks, newsstand, and that's it. And then you've got your navigation buttons at the bottom, so go back or home. There we go. And this one brings up the sort of task manager, the square. You can just see sort of different pages that you've opened. And that's it for a quick whirl anyway. Seems a great little device for £50. It's pretty powerful, quite fast. You'll probably see lots of videos of this on YouTube, most with much better lighting, but hopefully you get the idea. If you've got any questions, please pop it in the comments and I will do my best to reply. And hope to do a new video soon about the Bluetooth, which it does have, because at the top, when you drag down, you can see it's got on the top right there, Bluetooth, do not disturb mode, go into settings there, camera and bits and bobs. But that still doesn't take me to a camera. Anyway, hope that was useful. Thanks for watching.